Welcome to Life, Death, and the Law, presented by the law firm of Deason, Garner, and Hansen, hosted by attorneys Shawn Garner and Adam Hansen.
I thought that trumps state law in California.
And but what teeth does it have, really?
Yeah, I don't know. Well, apparently none in California. And so my brother said, well, yeah, I mean, it depends on your attorney general. And our attorney general here in California, he doesn't recognize that as law. Mm-hmm. And therefore, we've got the state law saying it's allowed, and then we've got the feds saying, no, it's not allowed. And Trump tweeting the tweet that you just kind of alluded to, which was kind of this firestorm, and that brought everything up. But he said, I'm going to withhold federal funding. And it wasn't really clear from the tweet, like, what federal funding is he talking about? And in talking to my brother, he said, well, I'm stuck in the middle. You know, I on one side have to deal with California coming down on me and say, no, you have to let this person participate, or we're going to withhold $237 million of your funding to your district. And then you have the feds saying, hey, we're going to withhold federal funding to the tune of $17 million. Mm-hmm. And so if it's a numbers game, it's pretty easy. I'm going to side with California in that sense. But it's not just a numbers game. It really goes to the core of...
Because he got some pretty scathing emails and texts that says, hey, all the time, why are you letting our female athletes be trampled over by these transgender athletes? And I understand there is a policy, and California's policy is to allow that to happen, but you are the superintendent.
Decision maker.
Yeah, you get
to say no.
You get to decide
you
that.
You don't get to play.
And maybe you lose your job. Maybe you lose your funding, but somebody's got to stand up to this at some point. So he's getting these threats from parents on one side.
Anonymous, you know.
Are they anonymous?
Yeah. I mean, you read
really?
that one. Yeah, it's like, yeah, okay. Yeah, you're so tough.
Yeah.
Through this, it's like you have no position to lose, and you have nothing in this fight.
Yeah, exactly. Your family's not going to be out.
Exactly. Where my brother's been there for 23 years, you know.
His whole pension.
We'll lose everything.
Yeah, they'd probably strip him of his pension and all of his retirement benefits.
I mean, the world would cave in on him.
So, okay.
So what would you do?
Is there a silver lining? What would I do personally? Gosh, I have no idea. I am in no position to say what I would do because it's not my family's livelihood on the line, and I can easily sit back here, you know, and Monday morning quarterback type stuff, and that's not going to do anybody any favors. But what I see as a silver lining is that there's far too much federal government involvement in state activities, and there's far too much state involvement in local activities. And so I think that federal government needs to pull back. They need to make good on their threats, and then let's have this demonstrate that we don't actually need the federal government. Like Gavin Newsom, what he should do is say, if he really thinks that this is a good policy for his state, for his constituents and the residents there, then continue running your state the way you think you ought to, Gavin. Get the federal government out of your state, see how many people stay around and enjoy what results in how you manage things. We've seen how it's been managed so far, and that people are fleeing, you know, literally in the millions. Mm-hmm. And the people that stick around, great. Enjoy that type of policy, and keep my money that I'm paying into the tax coffers out of your policy-making decisions. Then let's see what other states do. When we get the federal government out of it, we get the states being more independent, which they were intended to be initially in the Constitution, and you get this 50-state experimental situation where each person gets to see how state policies affect the population, and then they get to choose by voting with their feet which government works the best.
Yeah, so I mean, you're describing the classic idea of federalism, right?
Sure, yeah. And
federalism in that federal government should leave the states to do what they do, with the exception of a few things constitutionally. I mean, the Supreme Court has said what Border Patrol.
National Security, Border Patrol.
Yeah. The states don't have
interstate commerce.
Interstate commerce. I think those are probably the two big ones.
Yeah.
Maybe education.
Well, and I don't know.
Which is weird because
education certainly I don't think fits in a constitutional realm unless you do some really mental gymnastics and jumping around and saying, well, if we put these two words together that aren't in the same articles, then yeah, we can make that work. But in reality, no. The federal government is there to make sure that the states cooperate, to be the final arbiter about what decisions are regarding disputes between the states, to make sure that one state doesn't discriminate against another with tariffs against that other state, or discriminate against transportation with residents from another state. And that's about it.
If you have questions or want to know more about something that was discussed today, please call the law firm of Deason, Garner, and Hansen at 928-783-4575 or visit yumaestateplanning.com.